Hey guys, this is Brian Mounts. I run turfmechanic.com in this channel, and today we're going to be talking about grub control or grub prevention late in the season. Late in the season typically means July, maybe even the early parts of August. What do you do if you have gotten to this stage, middle of July, and you haven't put down a grub preventative product yet? Is it too late? All right, typically speaking, we're going to be putting down, in an ideal scenario, you put down grub control products towards the end of May, all the way through June, maybe into the first little bit of July. But after that, that's pretty much when the grub preventative window closes. And there's reason for that. For the most part, big adult grubs come up out of the ground kind of in that April time frame. They feed on they come up out of the ground as beetles, really. They feed on foliage, and then somewhere around like May to early June, the females bury themselves down into the ground and lay eggs, kind of in that mid to late June time frame. Eggs stay down there for 2 to 3 weeks, depending on the species, and then new larva hatches somewhere in the early to mid parts of July. Now, the reason we put products down before July, let's say July 15th, let's just peg that as a number here. July 15th, if you're putting products down, those larvae are already coming out and starting to feed at that point. Now, if you go and put down a product like this is a product that uses the active ingredient Chlorine Trenilla Pro. This is a product that you could probably find at your local Walmart and every other big box store in town. There are other products out there that use different active ingredients, but this particular one is not very mobile in the soil. It's not very water soluble. So if you're going to be putting it down on July 15th, by the time it gets down into the root zone, where it can take effect on grubs, all of those little baby grubs will have grown up enough to mostly not be affected by this product. Now, the other products that use other chemical insecticides designed for grub control will work a lot faster simply because they're more mobile in the soil and they'll go down, but they are way worse for the environment. But it still does take some time for them to get down into the soil, get into the plant system. That grub eats the plant, and then it's affected by it. So if you're putting stuff down July 15th, your kill rate is going to be much smaller, or your prevention rate is going to be less big. You're not going to prevent as much applying stuff at that time. So really, I don't agree with using those chemical insecticides anyway, because they are particularly bad for the environment. This one is going to be less bad for, honeybees and worms and whatnot, but this product really should be applied a lot earlier. Probably in my lawn, I would apply it by June 15th or so, mid-June at the latest, although I have put it down later because not everyone's perfect. But really, for this to be most effective, you need to be putting it down earlier. Later in the season, I'm gonna move here. I'm not so young anymore. My joints don't want to work. Later in the season, let's say like anywhere from July 4th all the way to the end of July, a product like this is really your only option. And honestly, this is the best option of them all, in my opinion, because it is the least intrusive on the environment, and it is the safest for humans and pets and our plants and everything. All of the beneficial bugs, the things that we don't want to kill. This product uses Bt, which is a soil bacteria that's naturally found in probably your lawn right now. The difference with this is we're just adding more of it. Now, Bt also comes in lots of different strains. So whatever strain that you have in your lawn might not be the strain that kills grubs. This particular strain of Bt, soil bacteria, will kill grubs specifically, like only grubs. That's important because when we put this down, it's a natural soil bacteria. There's no risk to humans or mammals or any beneficial bugs or soil organisms. But it also doesn't need to go into the plant system. It's very mobile in the soil. Typically, when we're talking about natural or organic products, they're usually slower acting and maybe like less strong. In this case, it might depending on how you define it, it might be less strong, but it might be more strong because it really acts quite fast. You put this down on the soil, water it in, it doesn't need to go into the plant. It's a bacteria that kind of lives in the environment under the soil. It gets into the grub system and it causes the grubs intestine or their gut to just kind of stop working and they die off. But it's only the grubs. And essentially the active life of this product in the lawn is only a couple weeks. After about 14 days, it's mostly not effective anymore. The typical time after application that this is working on killing those baby grub larvae is usually in the day 3 to 7 range. Now for me, I'm going to be applying these at about 10-week intervals, but you can't just keep applying it forever. There is a maximum that you're supposed to put on the lawn. So I'm going to abide by those rules, and I would suggest you do the same thing. But point being here is, let's say July 15th rolls around and you haven't applied anything yet. If you apply this on July 15th, it's going to be active on those bugs by July 18th, really, killing them all the way till, you know, later into the month of July. You can apply again at the end of July and it's going to do the same thing. The reason why we would do that is, even if it's not very effective at the end of July or the first part of August because many of the grubs have gotten too big, even if that's the case, there's no detrimental effect on our environment or our bodies or anything that we care about. We might, I don't know, we might take a ding to our wallet by applying an extra bag of this stuff, but other than that, we don't really have to worry about anything else. Now, later, let's say like August 15th rolls around and you haven't applied anything. At that point, it's probably just a waste of money to apply any product whatsoever, even a BT product. At that point, your only option is to do a Postemergent. We don't really call it a Postemergent. It's a grub killer product. It's a late season, late summer, early fall product. There's a handful of them out there. I go into detail on a lot of this stuff on a full video about how grub control and grub killer products work. I'll link to it up here, but it's also going to be the end screen of this video. So make sure at the end of this to go watch that if you want to understand how these products work and the differences between them all. Because I don't have them all here. I don't plan on buying some of the more aggressive or bad for the environment versions. At that point, a very common one to use, which I don't use myself, is 7. They use the carbaryl active ingredient. That will go down, let's say for instance, it's September 1st. None of these products are really going to kill anything more at that point. So at that point, you're going to put down a 7 or any of the other products. If you apply stuff in September, it's going to have a better kill rate than if you wait till September 15th. And it's going to have a better kill rate than if you wait till October 1st. Those products also, they have to go down in the lawn and they take a couple weeks to really take effect. Their half-life kind of is about in that 3 to 4 week window, depending on environmental conditions and where in the soil they are. Is it on the leaf blade? Is it on the soil surface? Is it deep down? So all of that affects the effectiveness of those grub killer products. I don't use any of those. I don't really recommend anyone do it, but the products are there, and if you've got questions about them, I'll happily answer some of them down in the comments below. BT is a product that is probably available in a handful of brands. A handful of brands probably make BT products for grubs. This is the product that I'm using. This is from the Lawn Box. It's Grub Out. They use the strain, what is it? SDS 502, the Galleria strain, which targets the grubs. This is an affordable product for me. It's a little bit more expensive than that, but not by very much. But man, it's going to work so much faster. So if you're late into the game, into the grub control game, this is your best option. In fact, I would recommend putting this down anywhere from, I mean, I personally do the multi-application low rate So I put this down June 20, June 30th, and July 10. But let's say July rolls around, it's July 4th, you could put the high rate down, and then again in another like 14 days. If it's July 15th, I'd go ahead and put the high rate down, and then I do it again anyway. A high rate of this, you can only apply it twice in a year. The high rate is 3 pounds, 7 ounces per 1,000 square feet, which means you can get up to the maximum 6 pounds, 14 ounces in a season. Now, if you're going to be doing the low rate, let's say it's, I don't know, July 1, maybe June 25th or something like that, you can get away by doing 3 rates on the low rate, and that will spread your grub control out over a longer period of time. Remember, a healthy lawn has grubs in it. You don't have to get rid of them all. We just don't want to have an excessive number of grubs. I don't care about killing them all. I just want to manage their numbers. And so when I put down a small rate of this 3 times, the small rate is what, 2 pounds, 5 ounces? That brings you up to 315 for a whole season. That's gonna give me a smaller kill rate every 10 to 14 days, but it's gonna last longer. So anyway, that's what I plan on doing, but I figured I'd go into that a little bit more in detail. Later in the month of July, by the 1st of August, you're not going to kill or prevent nearly as many as you would had you applied earlier. But it is much better and much safer to apply something like this even late in the season, even if it's going to have a poor effective result. At least it's going to kill something, because by fall, none of these products, not even this, is going to work. And you really don't want to go down the rabbit hole of applying these pesticides, these chemical pesticides that kill lots of stuff and can be quite dangerous for humans and mammals and worms and bees and all of that stuff. You just don't want to go down that rabbit hole if you don't have to. Go down in the description. I'll link to a couple of these things. This is not what you want. Even though it's so easily available, and the bag even says you can apply it into July, it's just not worth it, in my opinion. It's a waste of money because it just takes too long to start working. The other products like Merit, Bear Advance, things like that, those will work quickly. So you could put that down instead of this in mid-July, but I still wouldn't recommend it. It's just not very good for your soil biology, for your environment. And I just think this is a better option, so why not? I'll add some links to this very specific product, but I'm gonna go out and see if I can find a couple other like BT products that are competitors or alternatives to this, because I'm not married to this product. It's just the one that I am currently using. I like it, so that's why I'm showing it to you guys here. Down below in the description, I got a link over to my website where I have a couple articles about grub prevention and control. Make sure to take a look at that. One of them is very specific to late season control. Exactly why you're watching this video. Is it too late to do it? What do you do if it gets a little bit too late into the season? Hit the description up, read those articles if they interest you, and definitely watch this video. Where is it? Up here. I think it's up here. This video about how the grub control products work. I go into great detail in that video, and I really hope that it's more helpful than anything else. Thank you very much for your time. I'm going to apply this right now. I'm going to stick that back in the garage. I don't know if I'm ever going to use that anymore.